Welcome to A Brief History of the Past. I'm Kaelan Burrows, and today we're exploring the history of the Pinkerton National Detective Agency. I thought we only do real history on this show. It sounds like a group of gumshoes from My Little Pony. I would like to apologise to all of the ponies of My Little Pony for lumping them in with the Pinkertons, especially Pinkie Pie. Please stop sending the actual Pinkertons to harass me. The Pinkerton National Detective Agency is an independent police force started in America in 1850 by a Scottish-born immigrant, Allan Pinkerton. Pinkerton arrived in Chicago, Illinois in 1842 and didn't start off as a detective, but was a barrel maker. While scrounging for wood on an island in the Fox River, he stumbled across a group of counterfeiters, did a bit of his own surveillance, and then helped make arrests. You know, I've done a bit of detective work myself. Yeah, no, I like to watch people on the beach on holiday. They can't hide their secrets from me when they're wearing practically nothing.
Uncool, bruh.
Word of Pinkerton's detective skills spread quickly, and before long he got a job as deputy sheriff of Cook County before becoming Chicago's first police detective. Additionally, he was also an agent for the United States Post Office. Oh, come on. This guy sounds made up. Right? Barrel maker, amateur detective, deputy sheriff, professional detective, US postal agent. I suppose you're going to tell me he was a spy next. It's just... What? He was head of the Union Intelligence Service during the Civil War. Does he also have a P on his chest? No, look, for like a, for like a superhero P, not like someone had a wee on his chest, because that would be unsanitary.
That's disgusting.
Allan Pinkerton met Chicago attorney Edward Rucker at a local Masonic hall, and shortly after the two men formed the Northwestern Police Agency, which would later become known as the Pinkerton National Detective Agency. What? No combo name, like Pinkerton Rucker, or the shorter combo, Pinker? Yeah, I like that. The Pinker Detective Agency. Yeah, that's quite catchy. In fact, I'm just going to call them Pinkers from now on.
Excellent!
While the Pinkers would go on to develop a notorious reputation, they were ahead of the curve in a lot of areas. They were in the habit of hiring women and minorities, an uncommon practice at the time, because they made good spies. Oh, please, that can't possibly be true. I've seen all the big spy movies, right? Your James Bonds, your Ethan Hunts, your Johnny Englishes. They're all played by white men.
Johnny English, I'm here to see Pegasus. Still, no sense rushing things.
The first of the Pinkers' female detectives was 23-year-old widow Kate Warne. Kate applied for the job in 1856. Pinkerton was hesitant to hire her at first, but Warne convinced him by stating that she could get secrets from places male detectives could not. Once hired, she proved to be one of his top agents. She was an expert at using disguises, going undercover, and may have even thwarted an assassination attempt on President Abraham Lincoln. I think you got your facts mixed up. He was assassinated, so, bang on, Pinkers. What? What do you mean a different attempt? How many times did people try to kill this man? Apparently honesty is not the best policy. It is believed that in March of 1861, just before Lincoln's inauguration, Allan Pinkerton discovered a plot to assassinate Lincoln as he switched trains on his way to the Capitol. Kate Warne and a handful of other agents secretly spirited Lincoln through Baltimore ahead of schedule, using various disguises, with Lincoln posing as Warne's invalid brother. The president-elect made it safely to Washington, and the stock of the Pinkers went way up, though some historians believe that the whole threat may have been exaggerated or made up entirely by Pinkerton, as none of the conspirators were ever arrested. Well, yeah, but they're just saying that because the Pinkers would go on to develop a reputation for using underhanded methods to further their own gains.
Logical.
Whether the threat was real or not, the measures that Agent Warne took, including staying awake for the entire trip, resulted in the company adopting an open eye for its logo and the slogan, "We never sleep." It's also believed that this is where the term private eye originated. Well, it sounds like Agent Warne did all the heavy lifting putting this agency on the map. They should call it the Warne Detective Agency. I've already got two slogans, right? For the clients, right? We'll warn you of danger, right? And for the crooks, you've been warned. The Pinkers were also one of the first agencies to develop a criminal database called the Rogues Gallery. This collection of mugshots was compiled with case histories, notes about distinguishing characteristics, rap sheets that detailed their criminal specialities, and lists of known associates. It was considered the most comprehensive criminal library until the creation of the FBI in 1908. Well, yeah, but I bet neither could compete once America's Most Wanted hit telly in 1988.
Not remotely.
Early on, the Pinkers specialised in railway theft cases and were often contracted as bounty hunters, and they got results. Infiltrating the Reno gang, who was thought to have performed the first train robbery. They pursued the Wild Bunch, who included Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. They also went after the James Younger gang, which included one of the most famous outlaws of the Old West, Jesse James. Wait, the bellend that cheated on Sandra Bullock?
Whatever.
The Pinkers pursued the James Younger gang for months. One Pinker agent was killed trying to infiltrate the gang, and 2 more were killed in a shootout with them. In 1875, the Pinkers raided the James brothers' mother's house in Clay County, Missouri, but Frank and Jesse were not there. The Pinkers got into a standoff with Zerelda, Frank and Jesse's mum. During the altercation, a member of the Pinkers' posse threw an incendiary device into the house, which blew off part of Zerelda's arm and killed the 8-year-old half-brother of Frank and Jesse. This saw the public turn on the Pinkers, labelling them as murderers, which resulted in Allan Pinkerton calling off the pursuit of the James brothers. Well, yeah, but I'm sure the agency doesn't get associated with causing unjust deaths on a regular basis. What? What about 1892? Isn't that when Columbus sailed the ocean blue?
Are you really this slow?
On July 6, 1892, 300 Pinker agents were called in as strikebreakers by the man in charge of Carnegie Steel, industrialist Henry Clay. Hey, what'd you bleep that for? What do you mean his name's not Henry Clay? So you didn't just type frick as a way to appease the YouTube censors? Well, you can't blame me for that. The name Henry Clay Frick sounds almost as made up as the name Allan Pinkerton. The arrival of the Pinkers at the steelworkers' strike resulted in an all-day battle with the strikers, where both sides used bricks, guns and even dynamite on each other. The violence led to 16 deaths and 23 others being injured. This incident labelled the Pinkers as hired thugs and resulted in a number of states passing laws that banned outside guards during labour disputes. It also caused Congress to pass the Anti-Pinkerton Act of 1893, which prevented the government from employing Pinkers or similar organisations. Oh sure, let the dog run wild, then kick it to the curb, not because it bit some people, but because it made you look bad when it did.
Gentleman's out of order.
With the Pinkers' reputation for union breaking and the rise of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, along with police modernisation, the agency had to pivot to survive. They got into protection services and risk management, even dropping the term detective when they changed the company name to Pinkerton Inc. in 1965. Pinkerton Inc. I assume they go by Pink Inc. for short?
Of course!
Most people don't even realise that the Pinkers are still around today. It's not surprising, really. There was a time at the height of their power in the 1890s that the Pinkers had more agents and reserves than there were soldiers in the standing army of the United States. Today they're owned by Securitas AB after being purchased by the Swedish company for $384 million in 1999. $384 million? You know what? They should have hired the Pinkers to rough themselves up and then dig up dirt on themselves that they could have used in negotiations. Could have shaved a few mil off that price tag. Even under a different company's flag, Pink Inc. is still known for union busting and controversy. In 2020, Amazon hired Pinkers to spy on their warehouse workers to prevent any union activity. In 2022, Starbucks hired a former Pinker for their union busting activities. Most recently, in April of 2023, Wizards of the Coast hired Pinkers to go to the home of YouTuber Old School MTG, a Magic the Gathering enthusiast, to retrieve some unreleased cards from an upcoming set. For full information on this story, I'll put a link to Old School MTG's channel in the description below. According to Old School MTG, the Pinkers used intimidation and threats to obtain the merchandise. Well, not only did they originate the term private eye, but it seems private as well. Wizards of the Coast refutes the depiction of events and claims that they would never instruct a contracted agency to intimidate an individual. But come on, Why else do you send hired thugs? Sorry, security consultants.
Touche.
There you have it, everyone. A brief history of the Pinkerton National Detective Agency. Let me know your thoughts on Pink Ink and what sort of history topics you'd like to see me discuss in upcoming episodes. Thanks, and I'll see you all in the future. Which included one of the most famous outlaws of the Old West, Jesse James. The idiot who cheated on Jessica Bullock. The idiot who cheated on Woo! The idiot who cheated on Sandra Bullock. I still can't say it. Why can't I say it right? It's Sandra Bullock. Because Jesse James keeps popping into my brain. So, Jesse Bullock? It's just, woo! Woo! If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like and a share. Don't forget to subscribe and click that bell icon to be notified when more of our videos go up. And thanks to the Pinkers, I know where you all live. So if you don't do it, I'll be seeing you real soon.